The city of Melvindale, Michigan, it's a suburb of Detroit, has got issues going on right now. And it's somewhat what you would expect for a place that is a suburb of Detroit. The taxpayers are having to pay more money in insurance costs, the premiums for the insurance for the city, because it's been going up, as you're going to see in the clip that I've got. I've got two clips I'm gonna play first. One's talking about the rising cost of insurance, and part of this is because of the police department. And the second is they're going to be talking bad about the police in this clip. Now, I've got a third clip that's going to let you listen to the cop that they're talking about. But one of the things that you're also not going to hear in the first clip, but you're going to hear in the second clip, they've also lost officers. They lost an officer just 2 years ago. And that's probably also helping fuel some of this. But there's an officer that's there, a lieutenant, that has been at the center of a lot of lawsuits. A lot of lawsuits. His name is Lieutenant Matthew Furman. And I want you to hear him. I want you to hear the cop after him in the third clip. But this city is having to deal with this rising cost along with what seems to be a rise in crime. I mean, on top of everything else, not only do you have a police officer that was taken in the line of duty, this one cop who's saying he's very proactive, but well, he's been at the center of a lot of issues and lawsuits. And you also have a situation where one of the residents of the town was recently arrested by the federal authorities because he was literally planning a terrorist attack on a military base. He had armor piercing rounds, and he was looking to get others to join him to attack a military base. So this city is interesting, but let's get into the clips. Also, if you don't mind, I'm trying to get my watch hours up, so if you can share my video to people that might be interested in watching this, hit subscribe if you don't mind. I'm trying to get to the 500 hours or 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. That would be much appreciated. So let's get in these clips.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Melvindale is a small town with growing problems tonight, among them lawsuits against its police department.
That's right. Without any of the cases being settled, they're already coming at a cost to taxpayers and driving insurance companies away.
Tonight, 7 investigator Ross Jones is revealing how it's all impacting the city's bottom line.
There's one police officer that seems to have a hostage other police officers in Melvindale, up and including the chief of police.
David Robinson spent 13 years working for the police and the rest of his career suing them. Today, as an attorney specializing in police misconduct cases, he has 2 lawsuits against the same officer in Melvindale, Lieutenant Matthew Furman.
This guy has gotten away with things over and over again.
Hands behind your back! You do it! He got me!
The first lawsuit was brought on behalf of Dracar Williams, who said Furman repeatedly tased him following a traffic stop last year.
Stop moving!
And then Robinson sued Furman on behalf of Alicia Cook, a mother who was sitting in a school parking lot with her daughters when Furman stopped her over an expired tab and then tased her too.
Furman mocked and taunted her after he tased her.
You made me afraid for my safety. I was terrified from you.
I mean, that's atrocious. It really is.
When you look at these videos of the conduct that took place by some of these officers, it's reprehensible.
And while the city has been on the receiving end of a number of lawsuits recently, it was a sharp uptick in police misconduct claims that had the attention of city officials at a recent council meeting. In addition to the 2 lawsuits filed against Furman, a 3rd lawsuit was filed just last month by a current Melvindale corporal alleging racial and religious harassment throughout the department.
The demands from the plaintiff's attorneys are exceeding $4 million for the first 3 claims.
The litany of lawsuits has caused the city's insurance premiums to soar, up from $510,000 last year to $633,000 this year, a 24% increase. That's on top of last year's increase of 28%. As a result, said the city's insurance broker, Melvindale needs to do something to show insurers it's worth the risk.
What we need to be able to do is communicate to insurance companies that something has been done to review, something has been done to update, something has been done to educate and train. De-escalation, obviously, is something that needs to be looked at.
So that night, the city council voted unanimously to hire a third-party investigative firm to look into the police department, how it runs, and how it disciplines its officers. Chief Robert Canale was at the meeting, welcoming the probe and promising a tighter ship going forward.
I haven't had the ability to hold people, officers, accountable for what's going on.
On the job for just over a year, Canale said the understaffed agency was dealt crisis after crisis since he took over, from responding to multiple train derailments last May, to an officer being shot and killed in July, to his own cancer diagnosis back in December. The chief's received treatment and is now back to work, he says, and insists things will be different going forward.
I am going to take control. People are going to be written up.
Furman, for his part, remains on paid administrative leave while the Wayne County prosecutor reviews a warrant request following the tasing of Drakkar Williams.
Our citizens deserve better, and the financial ruin the city could face as a result of inaction is simply not appropriate. We can't take that risk.
Now, Lieutenant Furman did not return my phone call for this story, but by text he declined to comment on the lawsuits against the police department. He did stress that other elected officials in the city have been on the receiving end of lawsuits recently, which is true, but according to the city's insurance broker, it's those claims against the police department that are most responsible for that increase in premiums, and it was 24% this year, 28% the year before in any community, but certainly a small community like that, that is a lot to stomach.
And it seems like there's a lot on that police chief, especially after his cancer diagnosis, and now he's coming back to sort of wrangle
He's got a
everything.
full plate for sure.
And also what they're losing in premiums, they could have hired more.
Yeah,
officers.
that could have done a lot of good for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ross.
All right.
And this, where this case goes, Jessica?
Taryn and Roop, it was a very tough day in court, and partially because this was the first time the family of Corporal Mohammed Saeed saw his body-worn camera the day that he was murdered. You could hear him pleading for his life before he was shot and killed. Family broke down in court Monday listening to the last words of Melvindale Police Corporal Mohammed Saeed, killed in the line of duty in July. The corporal was responding to a suspicious persons call where he was confronted by 44-year-old Michael Lopez, who ran from Saeed. His body-worn camera played. The media asked not to show video. Then one single gunshot to the head, killing Saeed, who pleaded for his life.
He was telling him to not shoot him. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. Don't shoot.
In court, just feet from Saeed's family, his brother Ahmed sat behind Lopez, who is facing murder, weapons, and drug charges. The interrogating detective says Lopez admitted to the murder.
He admitted later on that he had fled from him. The officer tased him. He shot him. He intentionally meant to shoot him because he did not want to go back to jail, and then he fled from the scene.
Lopez will now stand trial after the case was bound over to circuit court Monday afternoon.
It's like he was chill. He was laughing with the guy who was next to him. It's like he never did anything, which he deserved the death penalty. So he feels the same pain.
Ahmed's brother's murder, part of a tragic trio of officer deaths this summer.
We lost 3 heroes in a month. 2 sheriff officers back to back in the same week, and then my brother in July 21st.
Ahmed, wearing his brother's hoodie and hat, is demanding harsher penalties for cop killers.
Makes them like, okay, if I kill an officer, I'm just gonna go to jail, free rent, free food. People like used to jail, but when you do the death penalty, everybody's gonna be scared.
He says every night before bed, he listens to his brother's last words from the radio call, hoping he wakes up from what he calls a never-ending nightmare.
My brother was the heart of the family. So when he got killed, like, we lost the heart. Right now we're living without a heart.
His brother has been outspoken since his death in July. As we said, Michael Lopez will now stand trial, and his family plans to be there every step of the way, despite how tough it is. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
And it must have been so hard for the family to be in court. I mean, we saw them put their hands over their head when that gunshot, I'm assuming the video was shown. I mean, it's too bad they even had to be in there, because it's an image they'll probably never get out of their minds.
Oh, absolutely. And Ahmed said that they're actually not letting the parents, mom and dad, come into court. They just don't need to see what's been shown, as we'll probably see it again when it comes to trial time.
All right, but it's certainly a step toward justice in this case. Thank you, Jessica, for that report.
The first 2 clips that you just saw, it explains some of the more administrative side, along with, unfortunately, the taking of a life that shouldn't have been taken. Guy didn't want to go back to jail. It just crazy. Now, you also heard about Lieutenant Matthew Furman. Sorry. This guy seems to be pretty controversial. But in this interview, there's going to be him, and you're going to hear another officer. This police department is part of an area where violence is normal. I mean, Detroit is well known for being a violent city. So the police in the suburbs are having to deal with this problem. You're dealing with a dude in the city that was willing to go attack a military base. I don't know how bad the crime is among the just a little less than 13,000 residents, but this city really does have to deal with certain issues. But is this cop right in his actions? I want you to listen to him. I want you to listen to his fellow officer, and then we'll get back. We'll close this video out.
Why do you think that throughout your career you have continued to be accused of excessive force?
I think I'm very proactive, and I think I'm involved in a lot more scenes and incidents.
It would be hard to find a police officer in Melvindale more polarizing than Lieutenant Matthew Furman. In his 12 years on the job, he's been promoted and celebrated, suspended and criminally charged, fired and brought back.
Do you have the temperament to be a police officer?
I do.
A lot of people don't think so. Some people in your own department, in fact.
And I've had a lot of people tell me I'm a great police officer.
The slew of allegations against him that he adamantly denies can be found in citizen complaints, lawsuits, police reports, and depositions. Like in 2016, when Furman pulled over a mother driving her 2 small children. Her vehicle had no car insurance, and Furman ordered her car towed. Instead of letting the woman wait for her ride, she said, Furman dragged her out of her car and onto the ground, forcing her over the vehicle's hood, all in front of her children. Furman would be suspended for 3 days, but the suspension was later overturned by the Public Safety Commission. Just a few months after that, he would detain a robbery suspect who said Furman slammed his head into the police car while he was handcuffed. A lieutenant reported that he witnessed this and told the man he would not sweep that incident under the rug. Another officer there said under oath that Furman went way over the line and split the man's head open. Furman told us he didn't cause the injury at all. It was the people the man was stealing from. He said the 2 officers didn't see what they thought they saw.
They're both lying.
I'm not going to call them liars, but I'm going to say their perspective was probably off.
Okay.
Because they were halfway down the block.
Furman says that an outside investigation cleared him of any misconduct and that he ultimately faced no discipline.
Prosecutors say a Melvindale police sergeant completely mishandled a call here in this neighborhood.
In 2019, Furman would be charged by Wayne County's prosecutor, accused of assault after he responded to a disorderly conduct complaint. While there, an intoxicated man would accuse Furman of throwing him down a flight of stairs.
The defendant used coarse language, threw a food bowl across a kitchen.
Furman again denied the charges, saying the man fell on his own. The prosecutor would dismiss the assault charge in exchange for Furman pleading no contest to willful neglect of duty. He would be fired over the incident, but an arbitrator overturned his termination, saying the city offered no concrete evidence that Furman threw the man down the stairs.
Watch his door.
2 years later, Furman was part of a high-speed police chase. The suspect had stolen a vehicle, police said, after striking an officer. And after his vehicle crashed, he fled on foot before officers surrounded him. As officers tried to subdue the man, a Dearborn officer's body cam caught Furman repeatedly stomping on the man's leg as multiple officers look on.
Cameras all around, guys.
A Dearborn officer would report Officer Furman's force to Melvindale PD. Furman said the man was resisting officers as they tried to handcuff him, so he used the stomps as a form of pain compliance. Furman was not disciplined.
I'm very hardworking. I'm very proactive. And if you are proactive and you're hardworking, you are going to get more complaints.
But these aren't just complaints coming from citizens. These are, in some cases, complaints coming from other officers in your department, officers in other departments, your chief in some cases. That's not typical, is it?
I don't know.
In the last year, we've had 3 officers from Melvindale involved in a shooting.
Faisal Manassar has been a motor carrier officer in Melvindale for the last 8 years and says attacks against law enforcement, like the one that claimed the life of Officer Mohammed Saeed last July, influences how Furman does his job. He and a number of officers we spoke with said Furman is by the book.
Comes to work, works hard, protects our city that I live in, and tries to get crime out of here. You know, I got nothing but respect for it.
You've heard everything. And I want you to state your opinion. I'm not giving my opinion. This is modern policing environment. You've got cops that are geared towards the old school way of thinking, that you need to be proactive when it comes to more built up areas such as this, more urban areas. You've got the modern day thought process that you need to be a lot more gentle with people. Some of the cases, you know, some of these people are said to have gone too far in how they said no to the police. And I mean, you've got the one officer that had his life taken because of the attitudes of people towards the police officers. It's a sad world that we're living in, that this is what's going on both sides of the badge. But I want you to think about all this. I want you to state your opinion. I want you to get to the point where you wonder, who's right in this? Are either side right? I mean, now they've got a private investigator that is investigating the police department and other things in the city. The taxpayers are the ones that are getting burdened with everything. So what's your thought on this? Would you want to be one of the people of this city, or would you want to not live in this kind of environment? This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.